Hello everybody, I am joined by Gaëlle Jaudon, who you probably know from being all over the poker circuit. She's doing podcasts, she's doing videos, she writes, she live reports. She was with us, in fact, for PokerNews.com's team coverage during the wsop. But what you might not know is that she sort of dipped her toes in the world of poker media on a reality show. I didn't know this either, so give us the scoop.
Yeah, like a lot of people don't know that. It was like 8 years ago, something like that. And I was really new to poker. I didn't know anything about the poker world. And it was in France. It was called, like in English, like the House of the Bluff.
House of Bluff.
So it's exactly like Big Brother. For 2 months, we were inside the house and we just had to play poker every day. And with some elimination during the weekend. And I stayed like almost until the end.
How many people were left?
One table. So I busted before the final table.
So the eliminations came from poker, not from people like voting you off the island?
No, it came from poker, yeah. It's like every week 2 people were eliminated at the poker table, and I just lost.
Well, we talked a little bit about something that I've seen from doing a small amount of research on people who experience reality TV is that oftentimes watching back, it's a little bit cringe, it's a little bit strange, it's weird to see yourself from other people's perspective, and believe me, there's a little bit of editing. So what was it like for you when the show was finally released and people started seeing you?
I hated myself. I just like couldn't look at me like on TV. I was just complaining all the time. I cried sometimes because I was losing some poker stuff and I couldn't go to the club because I lost the game, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, this is so unfair. And I was just looking at myself like, why are you doing this? Just stop crying. But that was fun. In fact, it was really fun. I loved it.
And I think it's always good to get that feedback, get that information. But then for the few years following, I mean, we all know about, you know, some of our homies who have just recently shipped Big Brother events. And, you know, I talked to Kevin, for example, about what it's been like since he's famous now. You know, it's a shift in the world. Did you experience some years after the show where everyone was like, oh, it's that girl from the show, Captain Complainy Face?
It's really small. It's just in France, so it's not a huge market. But
you live in France, so that's fine.
Yeah, but like, yeah, some people recognize me. Was like, oh yeah, you were the girl from the show, blah blah. But more at some poker competition or tournaments in France, more like stuff like that. So
and was this the catalyst for you sort of becoming who you are now in the poker world?
Yeah, I just started to work in the poker industry after. I started doing some podcasts, some interviews, and I just got really like interested by this crazy world. World.
She's in fact interviewed me, and I will put a link to that in the YouTube because it was a great interview. And for those who want to find more of your work, who want to get out there and see what you're doing, where can they find you and where can they find that stuff?
You can go on ClubPoker. It's a French website. I do a lot of podcasts. This week we had Léon Zuckernick, we had Rob Young. So you can listen to it because obviously it's in English and I do the translation in French. But you can listen to it. And you can also go on somuchpoker.com, which is a website in Asia. I do a lot of interviews for them of like different poker players. So it's in English also. So you can.
Pretty soon you might be able to find her on PokerNews.com. That's what I'm rooting for. That's what I hope for. Thank you so much for taking the time. I love it. And girl, I love this jacket. You guys don't want to click away from us here on PokerNews.com.